Welcome to I Learned a Thing in the Bathroom from Dollar Shave Club, where we explain something very complicated in mere minutes to occupy your brain while you shave. In this edition, we'll be discussing all the times the human race has nearly become extinct, as explained by someone who sounds smart because he's British.
As you may have noticed, human beings are pretty successful these days. Since hitting 1 billion members of our race in 1804, we've expanded like crazy and are likely to reach 8 billion in the next 10 years. But it wasn't always like this. In fact, there were a few times in history when we nearly disappeared altogether.
Are you talking about the Black Death or some other horrible disease that nearly finished us off?
The Black Death was certainly horrendous. More correctly known as bubonic plague, this sickness swept through Europe in the mid-14th century, wiping out 60% of its population, around 50 million people. There have been more recent plagues too, such as the Spanish flu, which killed an estimated 50 to 100 million people in just 2 years. Back in 1918, when the pandemic hit, that was between 3 and 5% of the world's population. But as terrible as both these events were, neither really came close to wiping out the human race.
So, what are we talking here? Nuclear weapons? Dinosaurs? Nuclear weapons made out of dinosaurs?
No. The first thing we're going to talk about is a gigantic exploding supervolcano.
That's pretty rad too, I guess.
72,000 years ago, a volcano called Toba erupted in Indonesia. This is the largest eruption we currently know of. The force of the explosion was so immense that it vaporized 650 miles of rock and blasted it into the air. This resulted in the sun being dimmed for several years and a thick layer of hot ash being deposited across miles of land. It's even believed the Earth cooled as the ash reflected the sun's rays back into space. In short, this was not a good time for anyone trying to actually be alive on planet Earth, and as food grew more and more scarce, the human race shrank to less than 10,000 people in total. Some experts claim it may even have been as low as 1,000. This was an event so devastating that it took the human race around 60,000 years to recover from it.
So volcanoes are kind of a bummer, huh?
Yeah. You know what else is a bummer? Ice ages. Around 195,000 years ago, the temperature plummeted so dramatically that the fledgling human race in Africa was all but annihilated. It's thought that the population shrank to just 600 people, and they only survived by huddling in caves around the slightly warmer coast of South Africa. This is one theory as to why humans have so much less genetic diversity than other species. We may all, basically, be descended from this one tiny group of survivors.
So what I'm learning here is that humans are not good with either really hot things or really cold things.
We were kind of not good at being a species in general until recently. 1.2 million years ago, the number of Homo sapiens on the planet only numbered around 25,000 in total, and that's without any global catastrophes to cause such a low number. We've always been spread ridiculously thin. We were essentially an endangered species for most of our existence.
Thank God we ended up maturing into such sensible and peaceful creatures. Tune in next time for more I Learned a Thing in the Bathroom. And in the meantime, head to dollarshaveclub.com for more podcasts and a big old pile of grooming products.